So it is 6:31, and I am calling this meeting to order.
Okay.
So if anyone is recording this meeting of appointments and ordinances, please let me know at this time.
I am.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your name?
Sean Thomas.
Sean Thomas. Can you write that down right there? Please. Okay.
Sean, are you a member of the press or are you
No.
recording it first? Perfect.
Great. So we'll do a roll call of members, and we are all in person. Thank you all for coming in person so that.
Yes. Sorry.
So we
Sean,
don't have to like.
how do you spell your first name?
SCA.
Great, thank you.
So we do not need to do roll
Roll
call.
call
unless
vote.
I
We're all-
decide that I want to do that, we can, but we will do a roll call of members.
Start paying everybody to be,
Present.
especially council meetings.
Okay, so Counselor Ricketts,
Present.
Counselor Gordon,
Here.
Counselor Minhas,
Here.
Counselor Master Jataro,
Here.
and Counselor Golub. I am here. The first agenda item is to accept minutes. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved. Rickett.
Second.
Any discussion about the minutes of last meeting? Okay. Hearing none. Do you want me to, at any point, ask me to pause and ask?
No, this is a different form that I've used before, so
Make it up, do it
I'm
your own.
making it up.
So it gets done. Yeah.
So let me know, are you ready for us to vote on accepting the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So I do not need a motion, so all those in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. It is
I've
unanimous.
forgotten to do a vote.
Okay, so I will invite folks up for public comment first who are on this paper, and then if you are online and wish to give public comment, please put your name in the chat, and we will call on you once people in person have come and spoken. And you will get 3 minutes. I will have my timer on and just taking a moment to put that. Okay. And please know that if you are asking the council to bring forward a new resolution or ordinance or anything else, please know that we're requesting that you look for a counselor to sponsor what you're bringing forward. Okay, so first we have Jo Marie Jackson. Please, when you come and speak, please state your name and your address or town.
Greetings to the members of Appointments and Ordinances Committee of Greenfield, Massachusetts. My name is Joan Marie Jackson, Highland Avenue, Greenfield. I'm here today to support a new program that at-large Councilor of Greenfield, Wahab Minas, strongly supports. The new program is known as an Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund. As at-large, Councilor Minas successfully ran his 2023 election campaign, giving exposure to the unconstitutional practice of what is known as home equity theft, the overreach of excess equity taken from real property owners struggling to pay their taxes. Once again, Councilor Minas is stepping up to give voice to an important program that has existed in the state of Massachusetts since 1998, of which Greenfield thus far did not participate. At-large Councilor Minhas, Albert Norman, Mitchell Spate, and I, Jo Marie Jackson, are researching with considerable effort and determination to establish an elderly and disabled taxation fund for Greenfield. As neighbors, citizens, constituents of Greenfield, we are seeking preventive ways for elders and disabled citizens' homes from the danger of foreclosure so they can stay in their homes. Establishment of this fund will not only be supported by voluntary donations of individuals within the city, but also supported by businesses such as medical, utility, automotive, financial institutions, and the many small businesses throughout the city of Greenfield. This is a program, a program we don't have in Greenfield, and I think it would be very instrumental that there is a way that can help the seniors, the elderly and disabled to stay in their homes when they're going through a financial hardship. It's a long time since 1998, and now is the time to start doing things like this for our citizens. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You know, I was thinking these public comments were going to come at the end of the meeting.
They always are at the beginning.
We changed it a couple of years ago to the beginning. It used to always be at the end so we could get business done, but we do this now.
I hear you, Councilor Ricketts and Councilor Bell. I have nothing to feed off of yet to give my input, so I'm gonna scratch mine off for now. And if we do get a chance to say something after, if that's okay or not okay, or,
There won't be at the end. You're welcome to respond next time,
I see.
or email us.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, or talk ad lib at the beginning.
But
So-
you're here in support of it.
Well, let's hear what everyone has to say.
That's,
He spoke,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Talk for himself.
Okay. Mitch Spade?
People talk.
Mitch Spade, Highland Avenue. I hereby recommend appointment in ordinance committee to support at-large Councilor Wahab Mina's proposal to establish an elderly and disabled taxation fund for the city of Greenfield. This program has been in existence for 26 years, since 1998. Many, under MGL Chapter 60, Section 3D. Many cities and towns currently participating in this voluntary program, which is subject to approval of Commission of Revenue. I have reached out to many municipalities throughout the state who have opted to establish an elderly taxation fund and all have expressed positive results. One in particular is the city of Newton, where the median price of a home is 1.6 million. According to the assessor's office there, they're very proactive in protecting the equity of seniors and disabled real property owners who may be having temporarily financial hardship. And they do this through various processes. One of them is through educational sessions. And the other one is marketing to local businesses throughout the city. Again, I urge you to support at-large Council Wahab Mina's efforts to bring forth an elderly taxation fund for the city of Greenfield. Thank you.
Norman?
Members of the committee, Al Norman, Goodell Street in Greenfield. I brought with me tonight a legal ad that was in the paper and the recorder back in April 13th of 2023, so it's almost a year old. This is a list of 62 people who were having their properties taken by the city of Greenfield. And I went through it and looked at it with the perspective of how much money these people really owe to the city. And, I found that of the 62 people on this list, 32 owed less than $1,000. Now, these people who owed, that's 52%. These people who owed $1,000, they would be great applicants for this fund called the Elderly and Disabled Tax Fund. This book is available, by the way, at the Greenfield Council on Aging. It has a whole paragraph section on Elderly and Disabled Tax Fund. Basically, the motion that you're going to be asked to be made, the councilor can go into. So I'm not going to steal his thunder on that. But I wanted to just point out that that elders who are facing tax title taking for that small amount of money, They should be able to, if they were qualified for this fund, which we set up ourselves, by the way, this program was set up by the general court, as you heard, in 1998. I didn't know about it for many years. Most people don't know about it. We know that there are at least 30 or more towns that are doing it today. But we locally in Greenfield will get to design this program. Who's disabled, who's elderly, who qualifies. The state doesn't do that. They just say to you, if you accept this section, you can create this program and allow people to enroll in it. I also saw a list. I hope this is going to happen across Franklin County. The town of Athol published a list of 105 people last. I think it was in April. In April of I'm sorry, it wasn't in April. It was earlier, but 105 people, and of that list, 61% were owed less than $1,000. And in a column that I wrote in the Recorder back in May of 2023, it was called "More Senior Tax Breaks, Fewer Foreclosures." At the end of it, it says that we need more tax breaks for seniors, more tax and fewer home closure auctions. And that's the reason that Mitch and Joan and I are here today, because we were looking at how to intervene at the point of stopping home equity theft, which is the very end of the process. Now we're moving back to the beginning and saying, look, before these people get into the net of being caught in a foreclosure process, let's you and I, let's all of us help them out. So this is a way that we can help early on
Thank you.
to help these people.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you. Got to keep it the same for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. F. Sheldon Ball.
Don't have more to say. I will do it. Serena.
Would you like to be on the record? And it can be very quick.
My name is F. Sheldon Ball. I live on Congress Street in Greenfield, and I am here in enthusiastic support of Councilor Minhas's proposition that Joan Marie and Mitch and Al have spoken eloquently about. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anybody up there?
Anyone's name in chat? Councilor Minhas, do you see?
Oh, it might be off to the side.
I don't see any.
Might look like a, let's see. Wait, is she raising her hand? I can't tell.
Yes, I see it. Stephanie Duplos, Chapman Street, Chuck Green for public comment.
Okay. So if Stephanie's name is in there, we'll call on her first. Is her name there?
Yep, I also see Alice Timmons for public
Okay,
comment and
so
Chuck Green,
Okay, so.
starting at the top. Okay.
Okay, Stephanie.
Alice Timmons is
Oh,
first.
first, okay, great.
Hi, I'm Alice Timmons from 106 Haywood, and I kind of had 3 quick points. One was I wanted to thank everybody for allowing us to have the conversation about the ceasefire. I know it came in the middle of a busy season and it was a lot of work for you guys, but I think the community really got a lot out of it. The second one was I wanted to thank Councilor Minhas for saying that codifying something into law that you all agree on is a huge gift to the citizens of Greenfield. That they actually, just making sure that in times, we've had times in the past and we will again in the future where public comment is stifled. And I just want to say that would be an amazing gift to the public discourse to codify that into law. And the third one was Councilor Minhas's taxation, the equity and for elderly and disabled folks. And I'd like to see if that could also be for anybody who's like got a medical emergency that's low income. I mean, if we can write up what the qualifications are, I think that's fantastic because we don't want people to be suffering needlessly. I mean, and if we can be kind to our neighbors, then I think it makes a huge difference in the long run. So those were my 3 quick points. And I want to thank you all for your hard work. and enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, who's next? Councilman House?
Chuck Green.
Chuck Green, public comment?
Oh, hi, everyone. Nice to see you.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm just the elderly.
Voice
and
is in and out.
Education
you're,
Fund.
you're,
There's some disconnect
Yeah.
between your speaking and your camera, so, and the speaking isn't all coming through. There's a delay.
yeah, there's
Oh.
a delay. Can you try taking off your video and speaking that way? Just see if that works. Anyone else?
There's somebody else speaking to you.
No.
No, it's the
us.
feedback.
There's a delay.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll know what I look like
Go for
anyway.
it. Go for it.
So with regard to the elderly and disabled taxation support, but I want to be clear, I'm not speaking for the Board of Assessors right now.
Chuck, there's still some
And,
problem with your
I-
audio that it's getting interrupted. So it may be best if you email us your comment. 'Cause
Yeah.
We're not catching everything you're
It's-
saying, I'm afraid.
Can I put it in the chat?
No, I don't think so because of open meeting laws. Illegal. Yeah, unfortunately. I hear you speaking. I think I don't want to assume what you're saying, but it's not going to work. Can you email us what you're going to say, please? Thank you. And thank you for coming. Okay, Stephanie Duclos?
Good evening. Stephanie Duclos, Chapman Street. I'm calling in to wholeheartedly support the helping our neighbors. I would hate to see someone that may have a temporary situation that something that like the COVID had impacted on folks and not be able to keep their home because of something as little as, under $1,000, when there would have been a multitude of people, I believe, that would have stepped up and say, hey, I got $10 here or $5 here that I can help my neighbor out with. We don't want to see more homeless on the streets. That's for sure. And I was going to comment, I know you're trying to get business done, so I will leave my comments about the appointments, the fast tracking of the appointments to city, regular city council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? People could put their names on now if they would like to. No? Great. So we're closing public comment and shifting to the public hearing. Bear with me a moment. Does anyone know what page the public? Rolling through the minutes of the last meeting. Yep. All right, so I'm going to read the public hearing. I'm going to read every item all at once, and then people can speak. Public hearing. In accordance with Home Rule Charter, the Greenfield Appointments and Ordinances Committee will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 10th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at Greenfield City Hall Meeting Room, second floor, 14 Court Square, and Zoom. Following address and meeting ID to receive public input on the following. Item 1, amend Charter Article 5, Finance and Fiscal Procedures. Item Section 3, submission of budget and budget message, strike 90 days before the start of the city's fiscal year. and insert in its place April 22nd annually. Section 6, action on the budget. Paragraph C, action by city council, strike within 60 days after it receives a proposed budget and insert in its place by June 30th. Section 10A, capital improvement committee, strike at least 120 days before the start of each fiscal year and insert in its place no later than March 1st annually. Next item, amend Charter Article 2, Legislative Branch, Section 10, Council review of certain appointments, add new paragraph C, if the council meets within 30 days and fails to reject as provided by this section, those unrejected appointments shall be considered affirmed by the council. The 35-day presumptive approval process considered satisfied, and those appointees will thereby be allowed to be immediately administered the oath of office without having to wait for the 35-day period to expire. Finally, amend Code Charter 110, Capital Improvement Planning Committee, Section 1, Appointment Membership, amend language as follows. I'm reading the non-strike through language. A committee to be known as the Capital Improvement Planning Committee will be established for one-year terms by February 1st of each year, composed of one member of the Planning and Construction Committee, the Ways and Means Chair or their designee, the School Committee Chair or their designee, an appointee of the City Council and an appointee of the Mayor. The City Council may consider the same on Wednesday, April 17th, 2024, at 6:30 p.m. at John Zahn Community Center, 35 Pleasant Street, and Zoom at the following address and meeting ID. Materials can be obtained from the city clerk's office, 14 Court Square, from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, or their phone number. Captain Golub, appointments and ordinance chairperson. So anyone wishing to speak on to the public hearing, you come here and put your name here or put your name in the chat. No one here? Any names up there? Councilman House?
Oh, no, that's Chuck Green's, but it's about the last.
Oh. Seeing no names, I will close the public hearing at 6:54 p.m. Moving on to the motions. Okay, we will first take the appointments and reappointments motion.
You all have page numbers in your packet. There's no page numbers, right?
So now we're.
It's really hard to find the motion.
Let's make it hard. Yeah, it's on page, this one's on page 13.
Thank you.
Chat.
Great.
Would someone else like to read this order of appointments? Happy to do so, but.
The city council move that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Council pursuant to Charter Section 2-10 affirms the following appointments and reappointments by the mayor. Parking and Traffic Commission, Jeff Saucer and John Anhalt, both terms to expire December 31st, 2029. GCTV Board of Directors, Matthew Conway, mayoral appointee, term to expire December 31st, 2026. Agricultural Commission, Greg Cootware, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Zoning Board of Appeals, alternative, Eric Green, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Council on Aging, Judith Young, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Trustees of Soldiers Memorial, Sandy McGill, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Planning Board, Victor Marshalla, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Substantive Greenfield Implementation Committee, Carol Collins, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Majority vote required. Need a sec.
I second. Oh, wait.
Discussion on these?
No, I'm good with the ball.
No, these are all, yeah,
All
these are all
good.
great. I'm kind of, it makes my head spin that we're doing appointments that expire in 2029. Besides that, these are great. And I appreciate everyone volunteering
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Likewise, I'm excited that so many names have been coming in every month.
Yes.
Great, see people stepping up. Okay. I'm going to choose not to do a roll call on this one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going back up, just in the hopes of seeing what page numbers we're on next, but I know it. Okay,
Okay, now we're
So-
gonna do the.
so next what's going to happen is that, yep, there are several motions here, and I did confirm with the clerk's office that because we're just making a recommendation here, we are allowed to take them out of order in order to discuss them in a more logical order.
So I'm showing it on page 25. Is that what you're showing or?
Yes.
I'm not yet because I'm just looking at the top page right in this moment, but that's helpful to know. Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we're going to take these out of order. Anyone object to taking these out of order to talk about them in a more logical order? You all right with that?
You do you.
Okay, I will. All right. You do me a favor, Counselor Ricketts, and let me know which page chapter 110 is on, because that is the one I'd like to do first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mine are in order, so give me one moment.
Thank you very much.
Page 31,
Thank you.
does that sound? You take a look, tell me if that's it.
That is
These are all
correct.
yours?
Yep, these
Okay.
are all mine.
Perfect.
Yep. Okay. So I'm sharing that I'm taking these out of order because 3 of them have to do with dates and this also happens early in the process. So what we're discussing now are several motions to change slightly we'll change this timing that we are approving the budget through and both the capital budget and the operating budget. This first one has to do with how the capital budget is recommended by the community.
So I'm going to really start next year.
This would start next year.
Okay.
This would start next year. All of these would start next year.
Next week.
Not next week. We are this year with this budget season following the order of things that we've always done it. And also some of these are charter changes, so we're hoping that they are passed by the state legislature before next year. So this first one is order number fiscal year 24049. Is it possible to turn on the heat in here?
Turn it on or shut it off?
Turn it down.
It is really warm.
It's warm in here. No. Thank you for checking.
Okay. I was gonna say, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Same thing I do at work. I'm like, is there any way you could possibly take your coat off?
Yeah, exactly. I can do that. And just if everyone's warm. Okay. Okay, so the first one is order number fiscal year 24049. The city council move that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Council amend the code of the City of Greenfield, Chapter 110, Capital Improvement Planning Committee, Section 1, appointment, membership, as indicated below with the strike-through text to be removed and the bold text to be added. Chapter 10, Capital Improvement Planning Committee, Section 110, Chapter 110.1, appointment, membership. And I am reading the language that we are putting forth, and I will then describe what the change is. A committee to be known as the Capital Improvement Planning Committee will be established for 1-year terms by February 1st of each year, composed of 1 member of the Planning and Construction Committee, the Ways and Means Chair or their designee, the School Committee Chair or their designee, an appointee of the City Council and an appointee of the mayor. The town accountant and or the director of municipal finance and administration shall be an ex officio staff member without the right to vote. The committee shall choose its own officers. and further amends the index of the code, and further that the non-substantive changes to the numbering of the ordinance be permitted in order that it be in compliance with the numbering format of the code of the city of Greenfield, majority vote required.
Second.
Second? Okay. So what this change does is that the Capital Improvement Planning Committee is an appointed body that gives recommendations about the capital budget. So how the capital budget happens is that the department, as far as I understand and experienced it last year, the department chairs bring forth their budgets to the mayor.
Right.
The mayor then those recommendations go to this Capital Improvement Planning Committee, who then gives recommendations to the mayor. And then the mayor gives the motions to allocate capital funds to the council. We just then approve them. And so that when MGL states that there has to be a capital plan, I believe I think it's like 5 years at each municipality. We do not have to make capital expenditures. Capital are things that are supposed to last more than 10. I think it's supposed to last a long time. I don't want to get that wrong. And so we have to have a plan. We do not have to spend the money, but this is just one part of how the funds are recommended to be spent. And the intent of this motion is to make the recommendations have more voices be heard in the recommendations, so that so have this, it increases the number of the people on this committee from 3 to 5. It adds an appointee of the city council and an appointee of the mayor. And it allows for, instead of the superintendent appointing someone, the school committee chair, which is an elected position, or their designee is the one from the schools making the recommendations. I think I covered all the pieces. So that's the intent of this. And the other thing that changes is that it's been assumed that the committee changes every year, but this just puts that into writing and says by when that needs to be established. Okay.
So I just have a question, a kind of process question about it. I like substance wise, this makes total sense to me. And I like adding a few people to the committee and making it more representative. This is just the headspace I'm in right now. Like, we're taking it from the mayor shall establish, which identifies the person who's establishing, to a committee will be established. So like, whose job will it be to make sure this happens at the necessary time each year?
That is a great question.
Thanks.
Still have to come.
I think it's an executive. It
just makes me a little nervous to not have that.
piece in there.
So do you know if the mayor and Ways and Means and the schools have seen this?
Yes.
And what was the feedback?
Positive. There have been many conversations with the mayor, the chair of Ways and Means, and school committee people. So yes, this has been positive, and there's been part of why it's taken me until now to make sure that this language is good is because of the multiple conversations, especially with the Ways and Means Councilor Toronto and Mayor DeSorger.
Council Gordon does make a good point, because this is a difference between the mayor's staff setting up these meetings or the clerk's office. So it would have to be defined, because somebody's going to have to put this all in motion.
Someone needs to just have their calendar reminder set to do it. I don't care who it is, and it probably possibly makes sense for it to be the clerk, but you all know the process better than I do.
I would welcome a motion to make it the mayor shall establish and then a committee. I'm fine with for the mayor's office. I'm still learning.
I'm all for that. I'm not quite sure why it would strike me there. Anyway, but in any event,
Yeah, neither. Okay, yeah.
So I move that we amend the proposed motion to keep the mayor shall establish a committee, and then a committee to be known as the Capital Improvement Planning Committee.
Right, and the
And
rest,
then we would strike will be established
Mhm.
and then keep for 1-year terms by February 1st of each year.
So,
Is that clear to folks?
Mhm.
yeah, it is.
Yep.
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. See nods. Any discussion on that motion to amend? All those in favor?
I,
Aye. So any other discussion on the entire motion? Did you have another question?
Nope.
Good.
I'm
Okay.
good. And that's what I want to do is make sure
Yep.
it has touched base with everybody first, because I don't want to get to council floor and then find out.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Yes, many conversations.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I'm going back to the top to figure out where you could tell me, Counselor Ricketts, where
I
the,
don't know what you want to do next.
yes, I will tell you. Article 5, Section 10A. What page is that on?
5, 10,
Yeah,
that's it, 27. Is that the one you want to do, or?
let's see.
That
Yes,
was marked.
that's right. Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay, when a plan comes together.
All right, so we're going forward in time. Next thing that happens. Order number fiscal year 24048.3. The city council moved that it be ordered that that this Greenfield City Charter, Article 5, Finance and Fiscal Procedures, Section 10, Capital Improvement Program, Paragraph A, be amended as indicated below with strike-through text to be removed and bold text to be added. Again, I'm going to read the strike-through text.
Sorry, can you tell me again what page you're on? I was trying to record the last part.
27.
27, thank you. Great, okay.
Right. Section 510, Capital Improvement Program. A, the mayor shall submit a capital improvement program to the city council no later than March 1st. The capital improvement program shall be based on material prepared by the Capital Improvement Program Committee established by ordinance. It shall include 1, a clear and concise general summary of its contents, 2, a list of all capital improvements proposed to be undertaken during the next ensuing 5 years, and supporting information as to the need for each capital improvement, cost estimates, methods of financing, and recommended time schedules for each improvement, and 3, the estimated annual cost of operating and maintaining each facility and piece of major equipment involved. Editor's note, see Chapter 110, Capital Improvements Planning Committee. B, this information is to be annually revised by the mayor with regard to all capital improvements still pending or in the process of being acquired, improved, or constructed. And that the city council further instructs the city clerk to submit the approved vote to the legislature of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and request the legislature to amend the city charter. 2/3 vote required. And so just that last piece is reminding us that this is a charter change, and hopefully that the state legislature will move on this. And the one thing that changes in this is that we strike through at least 120 days before the start of each fiscal year, so that I should have this written down, but I don't.
No, it is, it's strike through.
Yeah, it's striked through, but June 1st, May 1st, April 1st. And I'm not going to count well. It's making it be March 1st, so that there's a month between when the committee is established and the program is submitted to the city council. Can I have a second?
Seconds. Just waiting for you to take a break.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to add one other thing with the discussion here is that I felt a little nervous when I first looked at this, thinking maybe we need more time, but the mayor and Councilor Toronzo assured me that this gave the committee plenty of time to deliberate and give their recommendations. So I support it. Any discussion?
Yeah, just now, everything on here, it was previous except for that strike.
That's the only thing.
Okay,
Only
because
change.
apparently people haven't been paying much attention to number 3, which actually seems to be a trend of
Yeah.
major projects and then without figuring out what it's going to cost to maintain these.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see that that's there because you build something, it needs to be maintained and it's got to be included into the cost. But that seems not to happen all too often. Anyway, but I'm all for this.
Okay, I was about to lean over to catch you before you went down the rabbit hole, but good. Gotcha.
Hmm.
For
Give me
now.
that look.
Any other discussion?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, me too.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, so the next one is Article 5, Section 3. Page that's on?
27. Whoops, no, it's not.
No, I have
I just.
5-6, so
Before then, 6,
45. Is
25.
that what you said, 25?
I did.
Okay, thank you both. Okay. Order number fiscal year 24048.1, the city council move that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Charter, Article 5, Finance and Fiscal Procedures, Section 3, submission of budget and budget message be amended as indicated below with a strike-through text to be removed and bold text to be added. Section 5.3, submission of budget and budget message. Again, reading, not the strike-through text. Not later than April 22nd, thank you, annually, the mayor shall submit to the city council a proposed operating budget for the ensuing fiscal year with an accompanying budget message and supporting documents. The mayor shall simultaneously provide for the publication in a local newspaper of a notice and general summary of the proposed budget. The summary shall specifically indicate any major variations from the current operating budget and the reason for such changes. The notice shall further indicate the times and places at which complete copies of the proposed operating budget for the city are available for examination by the public. And that the city council further instructs the city clerk to submit the approved vote to the legislature of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and request said legislature to amend the city charter, 2/3 vote required.
Second.
All right. So I'm just pausing for a moment. So how the city charter is currently set up, the operating budget needs to be submitted 90 days before the city's fiscal year, and the city council has to adopt the budget 60 days after it receives the proposed budget. So although this is very strange, like this is not normal for Massachusetts. Our fiscal year ends June 30th, but the way things are currently set up, we need to vote on it and pass it by the end of May. And that pushes everything forward in time and it makes everything cramped in a way that it does not need to be for the mayor, for the council. And so what the combination of this proposal and the next one do is it gives both the mayor's office and the council more time to submit the budget and to vote on the budget. And this is something that I have changed a couple of times, really making sure that the mayor and Councilor Tronzo were on board with this language, and we came together April 22nd, because that is the day out, that's the day that we know will be after there's even if the first of the month is a Wednesday, it's the 22nd is definitely going to be after the city council meeting in April. So we will be voting, we will be beginning the deliberations. We will begin the examination and the deliberations about the budget after the April meeting. So that's the rationale of that. So, questions, thoughts? No? Makes sense?
The rationale makes sense. I mean, I always do question and get a little hesitant about including specific dates and things instead of like 90 days, 60, like some amount of time. But I understand why it's stated that way. I mean, I'll also just say that this is not what we're discussing right now, but at some point, hopefully not soon, we're going to have to address that this requires publication in a local newspaper, because that's very much anachronistic, and like, hopefully we'll keep having a local newspaper for a long time, but.
And I think we're doing pretty good because we just got our budget books today and it's the 9th, so we're not too far off of
Yeah,
close to this now. So I think, yeah, I think it's doable.
yeah. This changes it from April 1st to April 2020, April 1st-ish.
Yeah, and no matter
April
what,
22nd.
that will happen after the third Wednesday,
Yeah,
no matter what calendar year.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. And
Right.
this was a
Yeah.
long conversation getting to a date that everyone can forget.
As long as our council meetings stay on the third Wednesday, this works.
That's not gonna change. It's the amount of hours
Right.
that will
Right.
change. So maybe this way we might be a little sooner. So we don't have to go to like 1:15 in the morning.
Right, I mean, giving ourselves more time is great.
Yeah, the more time we get, the better.
Any other discussion?
Just jinx me, just say 1:15 in the morning.
Right.
No comment.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Okay,
Yep.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And the next, which I believe on the next page. This is a continuation of that.
30.
5-6.
Would someone else like to read this one? You want? You don't have to. Does anyone?
Is it
else?
5-6?
Page is it on? I can read
It's
it.
on page 26. Yeah,
Okay.
26. Okay,
thank you.
order number FY 240448.2. The city council moved that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Charter, Article 5, Finance and Fiscal Procedures, Section 6, Action on the Budget, Paragraph C be amended as indicated below, with strike-through text to be removed and bold text to be added. Section 5, 6, Action on the Budget. So I just read, just to clarify, I don't read the strike-through.
Yeah, that's.
Okay,
what
cool.
we're doing.
Action by the city council. The city council shall adopt the budget with or without amendments by June 30th. In amending the budget, the city council may increase or decrease amounts and expenditures as allowed under section 32 of chapter 44 of the general laws. If the city council fails to take any action with respect to any item in the proposed budget within 60 days after it receives the proposed budget, such amount shall, without any action by the city council, become a part of the appropriations for the ensuing fiscal year and shall be available for the purposes specified. And that the city council further instruct the city clerk to submit the approved vote to the legislature of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and request said legislature to amend the city charter.
Second.
2/3 vote required. Sorry. No, it's fine. I want to put it both on record.
Any discussion on this one?
Makes total sense.
Yep.
Okay,
Stand in line with everything else.
All right.
Perfect.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do I need to have them saying all those opposed or all those abstained? No, since we
Not
have
if it's
five.
unanimous.
You haven't been doing it up to now. so-
I have not, but realize that.
We would let you know.
Okay.
If you were a larger body, I think you would, but it's very clear.
And we're recommending.
Yeah.
Okay,
What do you want to do next?
one is Article 2, Section 10.
To section.
Is that page 29?
Yes. Someone else want to read this one?
City Council move that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Charter Article 2 Legislative Branch, Section 10, Council Review of Certain Appointments be amended by the addition of new paragraph C as follows. Section 2-10, Council Review of Certain Appointments. Paragraph C, if the council meets within the 30 days and fails to reject as provided by this section, those unrejected appointments shall be considered affirmed by the council. The 35-day presumptive approval process considered satisfied, and those appointments will thereby be allowed to be immediately administered the oath of office without having to wait for the 35-day period to expire. And that the city council further instructs the city clerk to submit the approved vote to the legislature of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and request said legislature to amend the city charter. Majority vote required.
Second. This makes a lot more sense if you read the next page for those who are reading along. So what this does is basically when the mayor puts names forward for appointments, the council has 35 days in which to reject the appointments by having 9 members of the council vote to reject. Currently, there's a 35-day period that it says section B says appointments made by the mayor shall become effective on the 35th day following the date on which notice of the proposed appointment is filed by the clerk. And so there's no chance that the city council could meet. Well, I mean, there is a slight chance. It is extraordinary. There is a slight chance. There is a slight chance. And I don't know, has it ever happened that the city council has moved specifically met to reject in between the 30th day and the 35th day? No, it doesn't happen. So the council is not going to, barring some extreme circumstances never happen, it's not going to meet between 30 days and 35 days. And so what this allows to happen is if the council doesn't reject within 30 days and the board or committee that people are being appointed to meets before that 35 days, and they allows people who are being appointed to join. So that the boards and appointments, the boards and committees can function well, and we can support them. They work.
I think it totally makes sense. There's no reason, if the person's approved, there's no reason to make them wait longer to actually join and be a useful member of the committee. So great.
Any other discussion? I'm not taking public comment outside of public comment.
Point of order, is this a public hearing? Or are
This
you
is not a public
discussing-
hearing.
Okay, all right, because it's
public-
titled as public hearing, so I didn't know if we were gonna speak to each one.
The public hearing happened at the beginning of this meeting, and I read it and opened it and closed it, and there was no public comment there. So, and I am not taking public comment during. the meeting.
So, I'm sorry, but we didn't have the explanation, so, all right, never mind, thank you. Sorry, I interrupted.
Okay, so any other discussion on this?
No.
No.
Good job.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so I'm excited to get to talk about the next item. So, what page?
Are you counting?
Yeah, so we're going on, let me just make sure.
You just doing the motion or you doing everything? Like,
We went through all the motions. correct me if I'm wrong, we've gone through all of the items that are under motions, and now we're able to move on to the item that's for discussion.
Right.
Starts on
Yeah.
34 on.
34, okay. And I want to say with this, I asked at committee chairs, I wasn't sure if items that are on discussion could come for a motion. And they said that it can come, if we discuss something, if we happen to discuss something, the five of us, and we all want to forward it as a motion, we can vote to recommend something that's under the discussion line. It won't be on the same month's city council agenda,
Right.
but we don't have to keep discussing it or put it on our agenda for motions. We can just forward it, and it could be on, for example, now it's April, on May's city council meeting.
Yeah, that's good, because this one just
Squeaked into the 5-day rule too, didn't it? Or
Yes, that is my fault. I'm sorry.
So.
it's fine.
So I would suggest that you bring this up for just discussion, we talk about it. And if the sense of the committee is, I don't know where we'll be, but if it is that we want to recommend it, then you could read the specific motion, we could second it and vote on it.
First off, I'd just like to thank the chair for being able to put this on kind of a short notice, so I apologize for the confusion. And second, for counselors and especially the mayor who has expressed her support for this, and countless community members who expressed their support for this. I don't think it's necessarily important to read the whole like 3-4 pages of the attached document. I trust that you guys have read it. But essentially what this is, and also for the public, this is a way for us to act in spirit of creating safety nets for our public and ensuring that we can tackle the issue of homelessness and the housing crisis in different ways. And so many people might see this as a tweak, but it's definitely a substantive change. And so essentially what this is, and there's a precedence for this a elderly and disabled taxation fund, and around 30, maybe it's kind of unclear, but around 30 cities and towns in Massachusetts currently have this implemented. And what this is it's voluntary, which is, I think it's the best part about it. It's voluntary, and individuals and businesses can add on a donation to support a fund which would go to the most vulnerable amongst us in our community, which are the disabled and the elderly who are struggling to pay their property taxes. And I mean, we can go into the specifics of how that is doled out, who oversees that committee, and all those things, but essentially that is what it is. And I'm willing to answer questions about it.
Oh, yeah, I got, so that's, I just, as small of a donation or as large of a donation as individuals want to make, and companies or.
I think it's like technically has to be over $1. I'm not completely sure about whether or not if there is a max. Now, that would be a great problem to have.
Yep.
I mean, unfortunately, I don't think that'll be an issue, but if that,
Right.
I think there might be some specifications, but also we can determine, as many members of the public who spoke today, we can kind of sculpt this to be how we want it to be, where we can define what elderly means, we can define what disabled means. And this is not like a tax break for those that are already well off. This is for struggling people.
Right.
This is for elderly struggling people, which is a lot of our community. And so I think this would be a great idea, because rarely do we come across programs that we can implement that help people without an additional cost to the city. That like rarely happens. It's always some sort of a cost attached to it. And this is one of those rare moments where it isn't, this is voluntary. And in conversation with a bunch of the business community, people are enthusiastic about this. And it's about being in good faith with your community members. It's about being in good standing as businesses in the place where you are making your money. So I think it'd be a great way to ensure that we, like I said before, offer a safety net for our struggling elderly and disabled folk who are struggling to pay their property taxes.
I think it's a great idea.
So the language of the law specifically says that it's for the purpose of defraying real estate taxes, right? Like it's actually, that's in the MGL, okay. Because I guess what I'm thinking, I love the idea in general. I think we like absolutely. I do think there is some cost to the city in terms of time. So I am really glad to hear that the mayor and the mayor's office support this, because obviously it will require some time and effort to figure out actually how this is administered and then actually administer it. So I don't want to like totally, negate that piece of it. But I think it'll be time worth spending. And the other thing that I'm thinking about is like, right now we have the home equity theft issue that makes it like very clear sort of who is most direly in need of support from a fund like this. And we know that with the recent Supreme Court decision, some changes are going to probably be coming to the laws around that. And so I just want us to be thinking proactively about, and it won't be up to us, obviously, but setting this up in such a way that it's a little more expansive than just, people like who are suffering under what is currently the law around home equity theft. I don't know the wording of the law enough to know what that would mean, and I trust our mayor's office and others to figure it out. But yeah, it seems like it's going to be a little bit in the details on this, but overall it'll be, I think it's very much worth doing.
Great. And can we add veterans in there as well in the title?
I think as far as I know, we can specify, like narrow down or expand within a certain limit what we want for who qualifies for this.
To some extent, I think that's true. I actually just pulled up the MGL and the Mass General Law does specify elderly and disabled. So
I think many of our veterans are probably going to.
many of them will probably qualify under that, but yeah, I kind of wish we didn't get to decide, honestly. Like, I think it makes it tricky for us as a community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. So under this new program, what about the people who are currently in like the tax work-off program? They cannot be part of this too, right? Like, would that be like double dipping?
I don't think
Well,
there's.
Can I answer that?
Yes, you may.
The senior tax write-off does not limit, like, what I'm reading here, which is, I think is the proposal, language, adaptation, this is limited to those who, their annual income is less than the circuit breaker level, which is $62,000. The senior tax write-off, they don't ask you how much you make. If the senior tax write-off, there is not an income level
Requirement or anything?
requirement. It's just an age requirement. And actually, I think, and Chuck Green can answer this question, but not now, Chuck. Right now, they have a lottery. It's limited to 25 people.
Right,
And you're not.
certain amount of months a year.
A certain amount of months a year, not to exceed $1,500. So you can make up to 100 hours, 1,500, basically, it's $15 an hour. But the state allows people to make more than that, like 2,000 or 2,500, and the city can allow more than 25 people to participate. So, and I believe that this administration is looking into that. So, so there is another option.
Yeah, because we do have that. Like I said, our current mayor, she has done
And
that for years.
And the VA has a similar program, by the way.
Our VA here, yeah.
For veterans, similar to
Yeah.
senior tax write-off.
So, yeah, so I do like the idea and I think it's good, but I do think we should also look at what we currently provide. So we kind of like sit down and put it all together, so we know we don't, let's not find out the hard way that somebody's doing
The
something.
difference is this is private money, whereas the senior tax write-off gets paid,
Right.
it's basically, it comes out of coffers.
Mhm.
I don't think it's a bad thing to have multiple ways. that
Right.
people could access
That's
support if they're, the people who are in more dire need. If they fit the criteria that that the city comes up with, then they will have more ways to get the support they need, which is a good thing.
And we won't have to reinvent the wheel if we already have that program in the VA. So it's just more people at the table to sit down and figure out, the group.
Yeah, I think part like one of the good things about this proposal is that we can mold it how we see fit.
So this isn't written in stone. This, like, where I'm reading, it says.
This looks like some of it has Greenfield slotted in, but like our current home value average is definitely not $837,000.
I think those are examples.
Yeah, some of
Okay.
it's lot
Of
language.
how-
Some of it says Greenfield, but some of it's
Yeah,
little language.
So it also the committee, which would essentially like dole out the funds, their job is also to determine who is eligible, who should be eligible. Hey, you have a slot of people applying for this. This person here hasn't received any other form of assistance. This person is already part of other programs. Hey, let's go with person. I think so that it adds in a living body, which can, in live time, judge best who would be the best recipient. So you're putting forward a committee, which also helps do that.
So just to clarify, what we're talking about is both a motion that would, not making the motion right now, but we would need a motion that would establish a fund. And if we can do this in the same motion, establish a committee to administer
Yes.
the fund, or those might be separate motions. But we would need to do both of those things, because I think that's not clear in the example that we have.
Have we thought about that? Like what we want that committee to look like?
The qualifications. I mean, this is an example.
Right,
Have to come up with.
we have, right. So just for us to be thinking about that, that is also a piece of what we would need to do, which is fine. But I want to make sure that we check all the boxes that we need to check to actually make this happen.
So, let me think. I am in favor of it. I'm just trying to figure out if I would even vote for the motion yet, because I would really like to build some pieces together first. Like what the committee would look like and what we think Greenfield, like the questions we have for our community. Or, you could steal it from other communities that look most like us. Most like us, not way away financially and stuff. So then it doesn't become a debate on council floor, because you've had to put some of those pieces together, like we are thinking about the committee.
Yeah, I'm actually,
As diverse as possible.
I'm not sure that I'm ready to.
Yeah, I think
support
I'd
tonight.
like to
I think
build
that's-
consensus and come up with the best plan and the
Yeah.
most fleshed out plan.
So maybe you could come up with something.
I don't know that we need to commit by it.
Well, I feel like you have community that's so invested in it already. Not that I'm telling them, write it up and send it to us, but you are sponsoring this, so they actually can almost write it up and give it to you, but we can all share it. And I think it'll move better through council, knowing that we kind of thought about that. We thought about what a committee would look like and
You know,
Okay, so-
where the funds, like even like, I like the idea about companies and stuff could give to it. But where does it land? Like, where does it land in the city? Like,
Right.
it has to be some line item. And like I said, this is a thing with Chuck. I mean, he would know most of this stuff easy, so.
So would this be, let's discuss this further at another A&O meeting
I
or?
have a thought about that. Can I
Yeah,
move that? So there's a couple of pieces that I'm hearing and there's pieces that I haven't asked about yet. I'm hearing, so I'm gonna say the things that I'm hearing and things that I'm also thinking. So it sounds like for, I'm hearing a general sense of support, but wanting it more fleshed out. To have a motion that comes forward that one, states who the committee members are. I know that this does say, the state requires participation from the chairman of the Board of Assessors, the city treasurer, and a resident of the city to be appointed by the mayor. I'm not sure if we can, if that's set in stone or we can add to that. So I think that, okay, it says that. Okay, right, it's the next sentence. So.
What's the next sentence say?
So, but the tax aid committee can also include a member from the city council, a member from the council on aging board of directors, and members from the public and private sector. So to come back with a motion that includes a proposal for who the committee members are. So that's what I'm hearing. I don't think that this would need to be written in the motion, but I'm hearing a concern about just how does this fit? What other tax support do we offer and how does this fit with that? It sounds like it's a parallel thing, but just making sure, I think that would be
Right.
helpful.
Because we could put it forward and we could vote it, we could throw it to council floor and we could vote yes. And then there it is, just hanging out there.
Right, but then nobody knows whose job it is.
So-
And then,
so then
you know, and
it's-
I don't want it to be here every single month. I'd rather like
It won't
work on it.
It won't. I will make sure it will not
Catherine's
be.
like, nope.
It will be a distinct body. And so that is the other question that was raised. Where does it live? Like, where is the line item? Where does it live in the budget? These funds, that would be, and I'm not sure if that gets written into a motion or not, but I'm sure that's something that you can figure out. So an answer to that question. And then the first of all, before I share my other question, am I stating, was there anything else that was said that I haven't captured for Councilwoman House? No? Okay. So then the other thing is that, or maybe there's two. So on page 34, the bottom of it, the last paragraph, it says the applicants for this fund must be elderly or disabled in accordance with eligibility guidelines established by Greenfield. So it's distributed at the discretion of the committee, but the eligibility guidelines are established by Greenfield. I would love to set that up well to make sure that it's representative. I've heard concerns from the community about acute medical emergencies. Does that qualify as disabled? So, and I'm sure that the list of people who support this, like you said, are great. And I trust that you could probably come back with those eligibility guidelines. I'd love to see that. And I'm not sure, there was one other question that I wrote down. I wrote invest said funds at the discretion, page 35, paragraph 2. So
Work on the disability piece. Like what the requirements for that would be and stay within HIPAA. Like I want to be careful.
yes, that's very
Because I don't want like so much of residents, because at some point, some things are nobody's business. So I just want to be careful. I want to be able to get the funds to them and stuff, but let's keep that box a little tight when it comes to disability.
The good news is if there's 30 communities that are doing this already in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people have invented that wheel and there
Yes.
should be lots of models that we can.
Let's find it and rip it and.
And find out what the challenges are that they had that hopefully we can avoid in the way that we set this up.
and so that last sentence, the treasurer shall invest said funds at the discretion of the officer, board, commission, committee, or any other agency of the city or town.
That's in the MGL.
That's in the MGL. Yeah, I'm just wondering, if is any more language about the decision-making process, I'm not saying I need it, but I'm wondering what other municipalities are doing to advise that, to set it up to make sure that the direction is really solid from the very beginning. I would love to know about that, and that could be written into the motion. It could be just a response to that question. Because I want this to happen. I wholeheartedly support this. I just want to make sure we do this really, really well from the very beginning.
Yeah, no, I support that. I mean, I was under the impression that a lot of the questions that we have can be found once the committee is made.
Yeah.
But I think what we are agreeing on is that if we establish a lot of those guidelines and the direction, that would make it a lot easier for the committee to function. So I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for doing that work. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this forward.
Yeah, so I mean,
great.
yeah, I mean, we're all willing to help and stuff, but if you have a core group of residents that you're already meeting and talking with, and they want to help you kind of flesh out this based on the other communities that they know are doing it, I mean, feel free. I mean, it's easier for all of us.
So what I hear is that the next time we meet and discuss this, we want to come up with specific requirement. No, that's the thing. So if we come up with requirements, what if the committee then, once it's made, decides they would like it different?
Well,
You know, what legal what legal standing does our discussion or proposal of such requirements have?
We create the law,
Yeah.
and if they want to change the law, then they come back with a proposed
Okay.
amendment.
Okay, so that would be part of the actual
process.
wording. Okay,
Yeah.
that would be part of
The actual
Okay.
motion. So we're creating the law so that we
Okay.
make sure that whoever is appointed to this is directing these funds to be really helping people.
Yeah.
And again, work with people that are already that like-minded. So we know we won't get that pushback. If you're doing the treasurer, if you're doing Chuck, if you're doing some of the residents who came forward tonight, things like that, everybody's sort of already on the same page. Because if we feel like this is big thing coming down and they're like, no, you got to do this and that, and it looks like we're going to get so off track, you know, we don't want that. We want to not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you capture those pieces to the eligibility guidelines, the committee members, the where it lands in the, as a line item, and how it fits with other pieces? Yep. And I think just I would love to see this as a motion if you're ready to bring it forward. And if there's not consensus, or, I mean, there won't always be consensus, but if we're not ready to vote on the motion at that time, we also don't have to. But I would love to see it as a motion so that we can put it forward, just by the 5 days.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so any other discussion?
And thank you. I'm learning the process. This is like.
Yeah,
proposal,
this is
so
great.
Thank you for the support and
Yeah.
thank you. You know, I want to like ensure that we're working together. I don't want to steamroll through something, even if I think it's the right thing to do.
That's why you brought the cookies, just.
Yeah, that was a bribe. That was a bribe. So
Okay.
we got you on board, so.
Yeah.
As long as there's not $50 worth of cookies.
Yeah, no, $50. So you're
No, Yeah, my question is on anything that we ever do is always going to be like, who actually is responsible for doing the
Right.
thing? And I will always be hesitant to vote on anything where that seems unclear, so.
Yeah, and that's why I keep saying to him, like, I want to back them, I want to vote for it. I'm just saying, you know, put together your team, you know?
Yeah.
You've heard from them and they look like they've done some homework that they could grab pieces from, so I don't want to leave it all on you because you're really busy too. So,
Yeah. And with that, just anticipate that the question when you're bringing something forward is, what does the department head, they may not always agree, and it's okay. We may bring forward something that a department head doesn't agree on. And assume that someone from the council will ask, hopefully here, maybe on the full council floor, what does the department head who would be related to this think about it? So talking to the treasurer or whoever that might be. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, is that complete for this discussion? Yeah. Okay. All right. So next meeting, May 8th, 2024,
Yep.
6:30 PM. City Hall Meeting Room, second floor, Zoom hybrid, unless otherwise posted.
Okay,
All right.
Thank you.
And can I have a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you for being in
Aye.
person.